So the new Great Mother's Datacron is proving to be a bit of a nightmare. This thing is holding insane numbers of battles in GAC and in Territory Wars at the moment, so I thought I'd do a little bit of testing to try and figure out some of the counters that we might be able to use both in 3v3 and in 5v5 environments. Let's see what we found. So before we begin, let's talk a little bit about this team and why it's a bit of a nightmare. So there's a couple of people in my squad arena shard that are running this at the moment. There are a number of different comps that you can use, but quite frequently we're looking at Great Mothers in the leadership, having Morgan Elsbeth, Spirit, and then often we're having Merrin as one of the fourth, and then the fifth is quite flexible. Sometimes it's going to be Asajj, sometimes it's going to be Death Trooper Peridia, sometimes it's Night Trooper, sometimes it's any of the other characters. But essentially, Merrin, whilst at the surface level doesn't seem like she'll be particularly useful in this team because she can't revive anybody, she does have a number of benefits. Most notably, she has got an additional source of healing of the team. Whenever an enemy is damaged, all Night Sister allies recover 5% protection. So if you throw that in combination with the Datacron for Great Mothers, which offers a whole boatload of additional recovery over here on the level 6, you can see you've got, whenever an enemy attacks out of turn, all Night Sister allies are going to recover 40% health and protection and gain retribution and some turn meter. You throw that together with additional recovery over here for attacks out of turn. Night Sister allies are recovering 30% health and protection when the enemy attacks out of turn, and you throw in Merrin whenever you receive damage, you can essentially recover all of your health and protection in out of turn attacks when you get damage. So Merrin does actually bring a lot. She also brings a cleanse with her first special. That can be incredibly frustrating when you're trying to stop the enemy getting buffs and gaining turn meter. They're immune to daze, they're immune to fear. It's a nightmare, guys. This team is a real problem. So I spent some time trying to think of a couple of counters, and I've got some to show for you today. We're going to start off with a couple of 5v5 counters. The first 5v5 counter that I'm going to be using or displaying here is a Jedi Master Kenobi counter. This one is a little bit different because we're not actually using the likes of Snips, we've got no tank. Seems a little bit odd at first, but it does make sense in the end. So we're actually running Jedi Master Kenobi lead. We're throwing in Commander Ahsoka Tano, Grandmaster Yoda, Plo Koon, and Barriss Offee. Now you can drop Barriss Offee and throw in Padme, but I find that this setup actually works better. Now this does require the Plo Koon Cron over here, which is what kind of ties it all together. So I've gone for a level 3 with the with the light side tanks reviving. This literally offers me nothing in this squad. I've got this Datacron set up this way for Territory War for a different counter, but this is what I have to work with, so I'm running with it. On the level 6 over here, I've got whenever Jedi use special abilities, they will stun the target enemy for 1 turn, which cannot be evaded or resisted. I find this very useful in controlling the enemy team, which, 4 out of 5 of our characters can do that on every single special. Super useful. Now the Plo level 9 is super important. What does it do? At the start of battle, Plo is going to gain 100% defense and max health and protection. Whenever he does a basic, he deals 25% bonus true damage based on his max health, which cannot be evaded. Whenever another ally uses an ability while buffed during their turn, Plo is going to assist, and whenever Plo uses a special ability, he's going to stun all enemies for a turn, which can't be evaded. Now this can be resisted, so you might want to consider throwing a bit of potency on Plo. I've actually got about 32% potency on this Datacron at the moment, and whenever Plo gains defense up, he's going to gain 5% stacking max health. That is going to increase the damage that he does when he does basics, because that's based on his max health, and whenever defense up expires, he's going to gain taunt and damage immunity for a turn, and ability block all enemies for 2 turns, which can't be evaded. Again, that can be resisted, so having lots of max health and having lots of potency on Plo is not a bad thing, okay? This actually synergizes quite well with Barriss. Barriss over here has got a special that passes defense up to the entire team over here. All allies equalize their current health percentages, and then each ally recovers 15% max health and gains defense up for 2 turns. So that's going to be ramping Plo's max health, making him deal more and more damage on his basic. And you pair that in with the recovery that she offers just organically, and the TM generation she brings with Grandmaster Yoda. Grandmaster Yoda offers 2 different benefits here. One, he is able to spread buffs. So when Barriss does that defense up, he can spread that defense up again, and that's going to increase Plo's max health again. So you'll keep on spreading out that defense up, keep on separating it, keep on keeping Plo alive and dealing more damage with his basic whenever he attacks and does a basic. But also, Grandmaster Yoda has another nifty thing in which he's quite a high priority target for the enemy. So it actually forces Great Mothers, at least in my experience so far, I've done 3 battles, every single time they've seemed to have gone and placed the Doomed on Grandmaster Yoda instead of Commander Ahsoka Tano. So it could be anecdotal, but that's how I've experienced it in my runs. So let's go ahead and check out that footage. Now, even though this works relatively well, it's still a long drawn out battle. Essentially, we get the Doomed on Grandmaster Yoda. You want to target Morgan Elsbeth and reset your cooldowns on Cat. Note, the Blessed Ally is going to be immune to stuns. After that, you're going to call in Plo to assist, thanks to Plo assisting buffed characters when they use a special, and that is going to dispel the pre-taunt on Morgan Elsbeth, after which your Cat is going to take the next turn and she can use her Force Leap to instantly get rid of Great Mothers. Now don't forget, if this is in Territory War and the Great Mothers have got that particular Omicron, she is going to be immune to insta-kills, so this will not work in Territory Wars with all those Omicrons. Let's continue. After this, we rely quite heavily on Jedi Master Kenobi, his ability to basically place heal immunity on the enemy with his first special. Without it, it becomes a bit of a nightmare, unfortunately. So we want to constantly be targeting other characters using specials with our Jedi to create irresistible stuns to control the enemy team. This first special from Kenobi places heal immunity. Nobody is going to die, more or less, unless they've got heal immunity, okay? So we're using that second special from Barriss. That's going to place defense up across the team. That defense up is going to increase Plo Koon's max health, which means when he does a basic, when he attacks out of turn, he's going to do more and more damage. You can see there it did about 81,000 true damage, 83,000 true damage when he's attacking out of turn. Unfortunately, we lose Grandmaster Yoda, and it's a bit of a shame, but ultimately it's not that big of a deal. We should be able to clear out from here. Get rid of characters systematically. I do recommend you actually save Commander Ahsoka Tano's Force Leap. Don't just start using it, only use it if the enemy has got heal immunity on them, because otherwise they're just going to heal up thanks to all the attacks out of turn we're doing. You can see against a number of characters, when they've got that heal immunity, they do die pretty quickly. And unfortunately, we did lose Plo there. I do recommend, whenever you can, place that damage immunity on Plo. He is unfortunately going to die very quickly, just because attacks out of turn are dealing so much max health damage to us. Alright, so I'm going to target everybody, leaving Morgan Elsbeth until the end. Get that heal immunity over on Night Sister Spirit, and eventually we will get through to Morgan Elsbeth. Now, you can see the timer here at the moment, 3 minutes and 10 seconds. It takes a long time to chew through Morgan Elsbeth, so you need a lot of time on the clock. She can't be stunned. She's going to get a lot of bonus turn meter very, very frequently, and you just need to focus on trying to increase the damage that you're dealing. I've decided to try and save that yeet as long as possible, but let's actually see where this game finishes in this run. So we're getting another ultimate here. We've got 10 seconds left on the clock, 8 seconds before we finally defeat her. It's a team. It's pretty reliable, but it does bring it down to the wire very, very frequently. And if they've got that Territory War Omicron, I don't think that this is going to work against the Great Mothers because of that instant defeat immunity. However, I do have some other options available. This next one over here is going to be utilizing Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. We're using Armorer. I'm taking in Crew here. I'm taking in Thrawn, and I think I actually leave it at that, or maybe I throw in Hermit Yoda to throw in additional Master's Training. All I'm looking for here is an Attack Again Cron. If we can get an Attack Again Cron, that just makes it a little bit easier for us to go ahead and health steal more as Slacker, and also gives us a faster option of raising us up into ultimate as quickly as possible, basically. So this entire premise here is around getting triple stacks of Beskar armor on Crew, and then just letting him tank the entire team. The banners are awful because you will lose everybody apart from Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, but once you've got it on, it's pretty straightforward. All I'm looking to do here, triple stacks of Beskar armor on Slacker, and after that I'm looking to try and get Master's Training on him to raise up his additional offense and defense and all that sort of good business. I decided to fracture over there. I did nothing else. Crew was there to just swap turn meter. As you can see, everybody kind of gets toned down, and I'm just going to speed up the playback of this because we could be here a while otherwise. Put it on to 2 times speed. Slacker can't be crit right now, and he's going to recover some health and protection each time he takes a turn, stuff like that. Once you get into that DI in his ultimate, you just want to try and do as many AoEs as possible. You want to try and cleanse off Foresight when it's there. You see there's so much Foresight. I decided to do the first special there to cleanse off all those buffs. Stuns her as well, which gives us double siphoning. Most important is that you stay alive. So I'm feeling pretty confident right now because they're not getting through my Slacker well enough, so I'm feeling confident that we can get round to another ult, but look how close that is. I do recommend you mod your Slacker for lots and lots of max health in this scenario here. You can see that because they've got Death Trooper Peridia in this team, they're actually able to get Blight on me, which means I can't actually heal through health steal, which is a real big problem for this Slacker. We do actually end up winning this battle though. I just keep on trying to absorb Mastery right now. It's hacking under that protection. I think we're actually just healing them up afterwards. I go back into ult because I'm very concerned that I'm just going to die otherwise. And once we get rid of Morgan Elsbeth, it does become a whole lot easier. She stops being able to taunt, and the rest of the characters aren't nearly as tanky as she is. So I think, yeah, we just save it here for now. Unfortunately, he managed to get another dodge off there, which is a real pain in the behind. Pain in the behind is what I'll call it. And we jump down into ultimate here. As you can see, cannot recover our health, but our enemies also can't seem to chew through us regardless. So it does eventually work. You can get it cleaner than that, obviously. So the next counter that I've got for you is using a Darth Vader leadership. Don't do what I do and use Royal Guard here. I was testing a Lord Vader leadership before this, and I got a little bit too trigger happy. Take in a pre-taunting tank. Use someone like Sith Empire Trooper or Shore Trooper. Anything that's tanky, pre-taunts, and's got some good defense will do. We're using Mara Jade, Lord Vader, and Moff Gideon, using the Moff Gideon Cron. Very important that you get the level 3 with the buffs on special for Imperial Remnants, and then the level 6 gives you the alert, okay, with the Moff Gideon level 9. Now, you need Mara Jade in there to give you a source of shock. Shock will prevent the enemy from healing their health, okay? So, all we're looking to do here is, I noticed the error at the start there. I was like, oh, hang on, I needed a pre-taunt. I used the first special of Vader, hoping to land buff immunity on Morgan Elsbeth. Didn't quite land it, and then we use Control the Situation from Gideon to reset turn meter. All I'm trying to do right now is get round to having Mara Jade's turn and throw out some shock on the table, okay? That's what we're looking for at the moment. So here's Mara Jade's turn. There's some sources over here of Foresight, but I'm throwing this out. We got one shock, maybe a couple of more. After that, you start going on full auto, essentially. You will be constantly able to use Gideon's Subversive Volley, I believe it is, dealing massive damage. Now, if you do this without there being shock on the enemy team, all they're going to do is recover. Check out Merrin right now. She's got, like, no protection. Use the AoE. She's taking no damage. She's taken some damage, and then, boom, Merrin jumps right back up. This is what happens if you don't have shock. But you notice that Morgan Elsbeth does have shock on her. So that means we are actually able to kill Morgan Elsbeth. Now, this will take a long-ass time. All right, I'm not even joking. This will take a very long time. So let's go ahead and turn the speed of this video up to 2 times, just so you guys can get an idea. The good thing is you can just leave it on full auto. And because there are dots on the enemy team, Vader is stopping them from gaining any turn meter, so they're not going to interrupt us. Now, if I could figure out a way to also have either Shore Trooper or Admiral Piett in this team to increase the damage that Moff Gideon is doing, that would be perfect. Having a source of Emperor's Trap would be great, but unfortunately, I feel like I need 6 characters to try and take down this team with this Datacron right now. As you can see, that Death Trooper Peridia is actually taking a decent amount of damage, but once we eventually get rid of Morgan Elsbeth, it does actually get quite a bit easier. I know that sounds odd, but it is actually true. So we just leave it go on auto and auto and auto. Look how long it takes for us to go. We're 3 minutes in. 3 minutes in and we still haven't killed a single unit. Everybody is just fully healing. Eventually, though, we do chew through them. Everybody else is just not really taking any damage, but Morgan Elsbeth is, thankfully. Slowly, slowly, we will get her eventually. It just takes a really long time. See how much protection she recovers? And then we eventually get rid of it, and then it comes all the way back, and then we start to chuck it down again. It's just mind-numbing, guys. It's mind-numbing. Fortunately, because they can't gain turn meter, it is kind of working in our favor. So eventually get rid of her, and once she's gone, it feels like a big source of their recovery just disappears. You can see we are just tearing through them now. Really not so bad after that, right? Really not so bad. Now, one thing I will note, did you see right at the end there? Once there's only one enemy left on the field, you have to take it off full auto, because Gideon will stop doing his subversive volley and will start doing other specials. So once it gets rid of all the enemies, make sure you manually play the game and just keep on hitting whatever button you have for the second special on Gideon. Otherwise, the Great Mothers will do their thing and you'll be in a lot of trouble. So I'm just, for me, hammering at the R button here to try and chew through them. Eventually it does work though. Yay. Another option that can work, but not necessarily always works, is by using a Leia team using Radus and Jin. This only really works some of the time. If they happen to put the Doomed on Jin Erso, then you can win. If it goes on anybody else, you lose. And that's not very helpful, guys. It can happen. You can also do it with like a support Cron with really high levels of defense, and you might be able to win. Not reliable enough, in my opinion, to actually make it count. In 3v3s, there's not been a whole lot of data that we can actually reliably use at the moment, but from what I've seen, the best counter in 3v3 is actually using a Traya team with a pre-taunting Sith Empire Trooper and Daft Nihilus. Essentially, you will start the battle, you will isolate Morgan, and then you'll get round to an Annihilate with Nihilus and get rid of Great Mothers. If nothing else, it will make any cleanup battles a lot easier because they won't have a leadership and the Great Mothers are gone. Alright? You need this pre-taunt. Don't try and do it with Savage. The win rate bottoms out very, very low. But even then, even with this, according to Swigger.gg, against the Great Mothers, the win rate is like 30-40%. It's not incredibly reliable. Apart from that, in 3v3, the other most reliable counters are going to be JMK once again. So if you go Galactic Republic, you can go JMK, Commander Ahsoka Tano, and Plo Koon, using that Plo Koon Cron. Unfortunately, I do not have footage of this because I haven't faced one in GAC at the moment. But this is using the Plo Koon Cron with the stuns. Again, what you do is you reset the cooldowns on Cat, targeting Morgan Elsbeth. Plo Koon will assist, dispel the taunt, then Cat yeets out Great Mothers. Got to deal with the others slowly by taking advantage of the stuns that you have on the team, as well as the heal immunity that you get from Jedi Master Kenobi. The other one that I could say is relatively reliable is going to be Supreme Leader Kylo Ren with either crew and armorer, or potentially using GBA and armorer. The idea is just get the triple stacks of Beskar armor onto Supreme Leader Kylo Ren and just have him slowly but surely ramp up and tank the entire team. Again, I don't have any footage of this, I haven't been able to test it, but this is what I have heard is the most reliable teams to take her out in 3v3. Traya, Slacker would be your first choices, JMK would be a third choice, I would say. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in right now. We're going to have to try and save a lot of these counters just in case your enemy puts this on defense, because it is a bit of a nightmare. That's going to about do it for this video, but if I could ask you just quickly, please, let me know in the comments section down below if I've missed off any counters here, because I want to try and get this counter nailed. I want to try and do some more research this afternoon to try and figure out some additional counters that might exist within the game. Let me know what your experiences are. I want to be able to test them out. All right. Sick. Make sure you do like the video as well before you go, guys, and subscribe if you haven't already. Huge shout out to my wonderful patrons. I will see you all in the very next video. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.